Welcome back to the counter. Those of you that know me as an artist may not know that I also modify vaping gear. And the new one I'm going to look at today is the Aspire Mulus or Mulus. It's a cute little device. It's very similar to my billet boxes. I'm not going to review it because basically what I'm going to have a look at is how these panels are actually put onto the mod and how easy it is to actually replace this with something that we do ourselves. So let's get onto it, and we'll pull it apart and see what we've got. All right, let's have a look at how these panels are actually set on. It's a neat little device, but it's only got one decorative panel. So I want to see what this panel's held on by. I'm hoping it's press fit, but anyway, the micro screwdriver that I'm using is referenced CRVT4, and I'm going to start by unscrewing all the visible screws. I'll fast forward this bit for you so it's not tedious. As with all these devices, I'd be really careful about unscrewing these. Try to take your time, otherwise you will burr the screws and not get them out. And they're very tiny, so be careful not to lose them. I have no idea what's under here, so you're learning as we go. Now, interestingly enough, let me just have a look, see if there are any hidden screws. This screw here is already burred, so I'm going to have to figure out how to get that one off. I'll come back to that one. Appears quite well fitted in there. Okay, I'll come back after I've fixed it. Okay, so I'm back. As I thought, this was actually not a screw. This was some sort of plastic plug. So with a little bit of brute strength, we used a flat blade to actually lever this out. And this is one whole unit that is press fit, but it was glued in 3 places, and I'll show you. I'll insert some magnified views of that. Now, I was hoping that the panel would just be press fit, but what they've actually done is, and the button is loose, as is the ring, so that just comes out. What they've done is they've used a little bit of glue in a blob on the side, and then they've put these tiny Phillips head screws through the glue into the panel. All right, so the panel doesn't just push out like I was hoping. again, I'll show some magnified views of this, and we'll see if we can actually find a screwdriver small enough to get these screws out. To put other panels on these, I'm thinking you could actually use double-sided tape to actually adhere the panel without having to go to all this trouble of the screws. So I might have to have a bit of a play with that and just see what can be done. The button mechanism is just a standard little press button. The button is very similar to the SXK ones for the billet boxes, although I think they're actually a bit smaller. Well, I don't have one handy, but basically the ring goes in there into the panel and the button slots in. This just clicks straight in and is screwed. So your big problem is levering this off without breaking the plastic, because this is only plastic. It's one whole unit, but it's only plastic. And making sure that this glue, when you pry it off, you pry it off slowly, and this glue will break. Okay, so I'll turn the video off there, and we'll have a play and see if we can get this panel off, and how, oh, I keep dropping this button, how we would actually attach a new fancy panel on. Just something else for those of you that like to make your mod a little bit sturdy. The little screws that are held down like this, being a torque fitting, I am really bad at unscrewing things. So what I tend to do is, if I can, is I change the screws to Phillips head screws in stainless steel. Now, I just happen to have some that fit, and they are a Pan Mac head size M 1.6 times 4, and I just got these on eBay. They're stainless steel, much easier to use with just a normal, I think we've all got a gazillion of these little blue screwdrivers, and they just screw in, keep it firm. Whoops. And are the right size. So you can replace all the screws. Don't worry about this. This appears to be a plastic plug. It's not a screw. There's no point wasting a screw. But you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so I have enough spares to turn them all into stainless steel. Okay, so I'm back, and what we've done is we melted the glue that was around the screws inside this base, and I was a bit mistaken. There is actually a like a little collar to hold the screws in. Now, the screws are really, really tiny, so your little blue screwdriver will get them out, but I don't really see the point. I think it was a bit overkill. We also noticed that there are screw holes in this resin panel. Now, I find that a little bit odd, because those of you that have ever worked with plastic or resin know that they don't hold a thread, so that if you ever take these panels off just to have a look, and then you want to put them back on, this is basically a hole. It is no longer a thread. All right, so you will need to glue this, either the same as they did with the screws, which I don't see the point, or you can do what I'm going to do for the time being, and that is I'm going to use double-sided tape so that to hold this to this, right? And that will be fine for as long as it takes for me to decide whether or not I'm going to do panels. Now, anybody that's pulled these mods apart know that the glue used in these you could build rocket ships with. So the way we melted the glue was with a soldering iron. We thought it was hot glue, but it was a little bit tougher than hot glue. We then sanded off the excess glue that was on these panels. Now, just a word of caution, these panels, just from the heat in your hand, do soften, so be careful that they don't warp. All right, so that's where we're at. I'm going to put this back together while we work out what we're going to do. But we now know what's inside, and for those of you that want to play with mods and pretty them up, that's how they're put together, and that's what's on the inside, and it goes back together reasonably cleanly. Nice mod. Well, thanks for watching, and if I do make panels, I'll certainly make a video and show you what we've done. I have another one coming, so we will have two to play with. As I said, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again.